Hi, welcome to the Toronto Branch's third virtual knockout event of this season. We're very glad you've joined us. I'm Ellen Mole, president of the Toronto Branch, and I'll be speaking today on behalf of the Toronto Branch executive and our dedicated volunteers who have all worked hard to make a terrific show possible for today. I hope you'll enjoy it. Today we're going to have C division piping, which is roughly equivalent to grade 5 piping, and we'll have the A division piping, which is equivalent to grades 1 and 2 amateur piping. We had also hoped to have drumming at all levels today, and unfortunately, the one drumming competitor who ended up withdrawing when he realized that he had no one to compete against. So, drummers, please come out. We want to hear you. Here's your chance to play for a whole bunch of pipers and a whole bunch of people all over the world. And we would love to have you participate in our two remaining events in February and March. We hope you'll enter. Just before we get started, I've been thinking a little bit about what is the purpose of competition, especially in these strange times where we can't do competition in person. And I think that, as always, one of the big purposes of competition is to sort of create a short-term goal for oneself, something to work toward, and also then you get a chance to measure your achievement. So it's not so much for other people to measure your achievement, but for you to officially measure your own achievement. Of course, the feedback from other people increases the learning aspect of the experience. And I always tell my students that if you haven't learned something from competing, then you haven't paid attention, because there's always something to be learned, whether it's something you've learned before and forgotten, or just reinforcing a lesson, or a new lesson. You know, as musicians, we are often asked to perform, but we don't have control over when we perform for people. And so competition is an opportunity to take control of that, to practice our performing skills in a context where we can control when it happens. So I think that I hope that this virtual format is serving those purposes for competitors. And I think it's interesting to see that in our C division that we're going to start with, that we have 3 adults who are at various stages of their serious piping career, and are utilizing this opportunity to further their skills, create goals for themselves and learn from the experience. And so we're very glad to have them with us tonight. So starting us off today in the C division is Donna Cooper. Donna's been on pipes for 3 years only, and she lives in Barrie and plays with the Barrie Pipes and Drums. Her instructor is Brendan Culver, and she'll be playing Prince Charles' Welcome to Lochaber. Thank you, Donna. Our next competitor in the C division is Lou Lenaro. Lou lives in Collingwood, Ontario, and plays with the Ben Gorham Highlanders Band in Collingwood. He's been playing for about 5 years, and his current instructors are his pipe major Sheila Stewart, Daniel Carr, and Jim McGilvery. He'll be playing the first two parts of Donald McLean's Farewell to Oban, a very well-known tune. Thanks, Lou. I had the pleasure of teaching Lou, I think probably in his first year of piping at the Ontario School of Piping and Drumming. And Lou, I'd just like to say you've come a long way since then. Good work. Um, so, our next and final competitor in the C division is Shirley Park. Shirley lives in Newcastle and she's taught by Nick Lash. She's been piping for about 25 years at the street band level with the Lindsay Pipes and Drums. And about 5 years ago, she decided to take piping a little more seriously and start getting some individual instruction to try to up her game. And here she is competing. Good for her. So she'll be playing a tune that I was not familiar with called The Drumming of the Grouse. It's a 6/8 march and really quite a catchy little tune. I hope you'll enjoy it. Here is Shirley Park. Thank you, Shirley. For those of you who enjoyed that tune and might like to look up the music, it is published in the Gordon Highlanders collection. Okay, we're going to move along to the A division next. The A division pipers will be playing one hornpipe and one jig of their own choice. And our first competitor will be Mitchell Arnold. So Mitchell's originally from the Newmarket, Aurora area and went to St. Andrews College, where I had the pleasure of being his first piping teacher. It's getting to be about 15 years ago, I'm guessing. Wow, time flies. Currently, Mitchell is living in Waterloo, and he's playing with the 78th Fraser Highlanders Band. His current teacher is Bob Worrell, and his past teachers include Ed Nye, Jim McGilvery, and myself. Mitchell will be playing the hornpipe Moving Cloud and the jig Over to Youest. Thank you, Mitchell. Our next competitor is Andrew Collins. Andrew's experience is not unusual, at least in our area of the world, where people learn piping or drumming in their youth, are very active for a while until early adulthood, and then end up giving up piping for a length of time and then coming back to it later in life. In Andrew's case, he started piping in 1969, and after playing in solos and with a grade 1 band, the City of Toronto Cabaret Pipe Band, he took a 30-year hiatus before returning to piping a few years ago. And he decided to get back into solo competition for some of the reasons I talked about earlier tonight about challenging yourself, setting goals. And so he's now competing pretty regularly in our knockouts, and we're glad to have him back. Andrew and I were actually classmates with John Wilson way back in the day, and tonight he will be playing Tam Bain's Lum for the hornpipe, and the jig is The Old Wife of the Mill Dust. Thank you, Andrew. Our next competitor is Joseph Fisher, who's currently living in Texas. He's originally from the northern Midwest US. He's been piping for about 15 years and has played with the grade 2 competition band, the Greater Midwest Pipe Band, which is based in Battle Creek, Michigan. Interestingly, Joseph also plays a snare drum, and he's been playing the snare for about 7 years and has competed with the Milwaukee Scottish Pipe Band from Wisconsin in grade 4 as a snare drummer. I think that's very cool. His past teachers include Ross Spears, Ben Peterson, and Brian Donaldson. And tonight he's going to play Ruthven Market and Alex McDonald as the jig. Thanks, Joseph. Okay, our next competitor is Chris Bodden. Chris is actually a student of mine. He currently lives in Newmarket and he's originally from Almont, Ontario. I know that Chris started playing in high school and he's now been playing for about 25 years, but with a 9-year sabbatical, similar to Andrew Collins, but just a little shorter of a break. He's currently playing with the St. Andrews College Association pipe band. And as I said, I'm his solo teacher. And his tunes today are Clumsy Lover for the hornpipe and John Patterson's Mare for the jig. Thank you, Chris. Our next competitor is Charles David Mitchell from Kingston, Ontario, originally from Montreal. CD has a bachelor's in music in bagpiping and is currently working on a diploma in music and digital media at St. Lawrence College in Kingston. And he's a graduate of St. Andrew's College in Aurora as well. CD composed the two tunes that he's going to play for us today. The hornpipe is the first hornpipe he ever composed, he says. It's called The Piper's Trail, and the jig is called West Nicholson Street. And I will tell you a bit more about those tunes after you've had a chance to hear them. Thank you, CD. Now, for you listeners, I promised you a little more information about these tunes. The hornpipe, called the Piper's Trail, the Piper's Trail is the name of a group that was formed to allow civilians to participate in the Edinburgh military tattoo. And it was formed in 2014 and includes members from all over the world. And CD tells me that he first was an audience member at the Edinburgh Tattoo in 2013, and he told his mother at the time how cool he thought it'd be to play in the tattoo and to march across that drawbridge in front of 8,000 people. And in 2019, he actually got to achieve that dream playing with the Piper's Trail group in the Edinburgh Tattoo. He had planned to return to the play in the Edinburgh Tattoo again in 2020, but of course it was cancelled. His fingers are crossed for 2021. I hope it works out for you, CD. That Piper's Trail group also plays in other military tattoos mostly in Europe, including the German military tattoo in Dusseldorf, the British Embassy tattoo in Prague, and the Norwegian military tattoo in Oslo. So that is a neat story, and I always wondered what that meant about the Piper's Trail. I never knew the history of that group, so that was interesting to learn about that. The Jig, called West Nicholson Street. This is where Charles David and his family stayed in 2018 in Edinburgh when they went to meet up with his older sister Alexia, who had just finished her master's degree in occupational therapy at Queen Margaret University. And they had a sort of whirlwind tour of Edinburgh and area. They saw the Elephant House, which is the birthplace of Harry Potter. They also saw Alnwick Castle, which is spelled like Alnwick, but he tells me it's pronounced Alnwick. And that castle is also in the Harry Potter movies. They also saw Craigmillar Castle in Edinburgh and Dunnottar Castle in Aberdeen, and had a really busy trip. So the Jig kind of reflects how busy the trip is, and the craziness, he says, of the trip is captured by the ascending and descending phrases in the Jig. So very enjoyable listening to those two new compositions. Okay, so our next competitor is Laura Mullen. Laura, again, is a person falling into the same pattern as Andrew Collins and Chris Bodden in that she played it in her youth, took a break for a couple decades, and then came back to it a few years ago. Laura lives in Everton, which is near Guelph, and she plays with the Eight Wing Pipes and Drums in Trenton, Ontario. And her current teacher is Josh McFarlane, who's the pipe major of Eight Wing. And in the past, she was taught by Wilbert McCormick first, and then John Walsh. And her tunes today are Fordham's Dawn, which is a tune by Josh McFarlane, and the Jig is Mark Saul's arrangement of The Humours of Ballyloughlin. Thank you, Laura. Our penultimate competitor today is Henry Palick. Henry is currently in grade 11 at St. Andrew's College in Aurora. He started piping in grade 5 there, where I was his first teacher. He's currently taught by Jim McGilvery and, of course, by Matt McIsaac, who's the new director of piping and drumming at St. Andrew's College. Henry took to piping with a passion early on and worked super hard and was the very first person ever to make it into the senior pipes and drums band in grade 6. His tunes today are Dilius Gubra for the hornpipe. That's the motto of the 48th Highlanders of Canada. And the jig is Turf Lodge. Thank you, Henry. Our last competitor tonight is Chris Scharf from Barrie. Chris has been playing for about 20 years with a 7-year break there in that early adult, early career, tough time of life. But he's back at it now, and he plays with the 8-wing pipes and drums, and he is taught by Matt McIsaac. His past teachers include Brian Richardson and Simon Connolly. His tunes today will be the hornpipe Ina Mackenzie and the jig The Seagull. tune to finish the competition on with the Seagull, one of my faves. Okay, so that concludes our competition, but we have lots more interesting content for all you listeners out there. First of all, when we ran our first knockout event back in October, James McCaddy, who was the judge, gave some video comments to the competitors on some general points that could help them in competition. And our judges today have done the same for us. Our judges are Tyler Bridge and Tyler Harris, the two Tylers. And so I'm going to give you just a little bit of background on the two Tylers, and then we're going to listen to them, and they have some very interesting things to say about competition in general and also video competition. So I hope you'll find that interesting. So starting with Tyler Bridge. Tyler Bridge is from Guelph. He is the pipe major of the Guelph Pipe Band, and starting in 2014 with just 8 pipers and 4 drummers, they have worked their way up to winning the North American Championships at Maxville in grade 3 in 2019, and they now have a grade 3 band and a grade 4 band and about 80 pipers and drummers involved in their organization. So that's tremendous growth in 6 years. Tyler has a music degree from the University of Guelph, and his specialty there was jazz guitar performance. He originally learned piping prior to that, and his first teacher was the late Ed Nye. And he has also, in more recent years, received guidance from Callum MacDonald and also now Bob Worrell. He is an open competitor and as well as the band competitor, and he is a very active teacher. And he runs a music school called the Jam School in Guelph, which is when you see Tyler and Tyler's students videoing themselves to compete, that's where they're recording at the Jam School. Very nice setup he has there. In addition to all that, Tyler also plays with a folk band and plays for Kayleys and Scottish Country Dancing, and has even taken the stage with Natalie McMaster and with the Chieftains. He plays bellows blown, small pipes, and border pipes, as well as Highland pipes. And now turning to Tyler Harris. Tyler and Tyler have more in common than just their name, because Tyler Harris also has played in a folk band called the Tartan Terrors and has, toured around with them. And he's also played with classical orchestras, which I'd love to hear more about that sometime, Tyler H. And has played with a number of different pipe bands, including the 78th Frasers, the Toronto Police, Rob Roy, Peel Regional Police, London Firefighters, and the Windsor Police pipe band. And Tyler is also into composing music. I haven't, to my knowledge, heard any of Tyler's own compositions, but I look forward to that in the future. Maybe next time he competes, or maybe in his recital that we're going to hear later today, he might play some of his tunes. I don't know. Tyler lives in the Niagara region currently, and he works as a therapist and counselor, and he tries to incorporate music into his therapy program. So that's pretty neat. So I hope you'll enjoy what Tyler and Tyler have to say about today's competitors and competition in general. And then after that, we'll get on to the results of the contest after Tyler and Tyler's recital, which will follow their remarks.
Well, Tyler, it's been cool because I've played with you for years, and now here we are sitting on the bench together, and it was such a wonderful experience to get to work with you here.
Yeah. It was a pretty fun afternoon of listening to piping and, catching up with you. And we even had Dylan pop in for some moral support. Some really, really great tunes played today. So I'll kind of throw things to you and you can chat a little bit about what we heard.
Sure, and just for everyone who's listening, it was a really amazing type contest to take a listen to. For us, we kind of divvy up in terms of different selections about each of us and what we want to talk to. And one of the pieces I was really wanting to talk about was tune selection. And it was really cool experience for us to be on the bench and listen to the different types of tunes that were brought forward. It was interesting. In the C division, you had some really wonderful type tunes that you don't really get to hear often. And even for some, you got to hear the classics that got the dust knocked off of them and got to have their time out in the light here, which was really fun, really cool. And some also beautiful tunes that you don't get to hear frequently. Specifically, I forget the person's name who performed that march, but I wrote on the sheet, it was really quite beautiful and lyrical that you don't get to hear often. So
Yeah,
really thankful for that.
That's 6/8 in the C division. The
That's
6/8?
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
middle one. I think that was Shirley played that.
Yeah.
Yeah, lovely tune. Yeah, and then Lou coming out with the classic Donald McLean's Farewell to Oban. That was good. It's a favorite of mine, so.
And same here. And then when you switch notches and you go to the A grade, you had some originals coming through here, and you had some classics that also got the dust knocked off quite a bit. So it was it was a day of tune variety, in my opinion, and there was no duplicates, which I don't know if you've ever been part of a contest where there was no tune duplicates.
I don't know. And I mean, certainly today was a day of, there's a few tunes that we're listening through, and, both Tyler and myself are messaging Dylan, like, go look in your library and find us sheet music for this, or find out where this is from. And so certainly some tunes that I want to take a look at for myself from today. So that was a lot of fun.
Absolutely. And so you wanted to mention something when it came to recording software and technology.
Yeah, so this kind of a contest, I think the PPBSO Toronto branch has done such a great job coming up with a contest format that will as accurately represent a real contest as possible. The competitors getting one run through, us as judges getting one listen through, and having a specific order of play. So, both Tyler and myself, we listened to the competitors once through, each on our own computer, but at the same time, and we went in the specific order of play. So the format for that was fantastic. And one of the things that I noticed from this contest, and having been a part of the other PPBSO Toronto branch contests and listening to the live streams that they're putting out after the fact, is there's still a huge variety, a range of recording qualities. So one of the things that Tyler and I listen for as judges are the quality of your bagpipe. And it's with this online format, and because of COVID and everything, it's kind of thrown a bit of a wrench into things. And I think today we heard some people that we felt had very, very high quality instruments, but not a good enough recording setup to really let that shine through. And it's one of these things where, right from the get-go, at the beginning, when COVID happened and these online contests started becoming a thing, I was very quickly of the opinion that, pipers will go out and spend $150 on drone reeds like that because it's going to give them that sound advantage on the field. But then I would talk to other piping friends of mine, and they're reluctant to look into, buying a $40, $50 USB microphone. So invest in some recording equipment, do some reading, do some research. I think the best advice I can have is having a microphone that is separated from your video recording device. So if you've got your phone, both the microphone and the camera are in the same device. So wherever the camera is, the microphone has to be. So there were some people whose camera would be about at chanter level and right in front of them. So we're getting just a lot of chanter sound and not a lot of drone sound. Other people would have the camera up a little bit higher. It would capture a little bit better drone sound. And then I even saw some people that would have an external microphone behind them and up and above the drones a little bit, which is kind of my preferred way of recording my own bagpipe, and tends to get a better balance drones to chanter. So my advice is invest in some tech, It costs less than a set of drone reeds to get a USB microphone that you can then place in different spots around your room to get a good sound. And the last thing I'll say is the room that you record in is very important. So, we had Henry, who I thought, either by good luck or good management, had recorded in a corner in his house, and was sort of in the corner with his drones facing into the corner and bagpipe facing out where the camera was. Being in a corner like that with harder surfaces, that's going to reflect a lot more of the drone sound out to you, and it's going to mean that even though he may have been recording with a device that had camera and microphone all in one, he was getting more drone sound, and so the balance of that bagpipe was quite nice. So practice your recording as much as you practice your actual bagpipe. So make some recordings at home, listen back to them on good headphones, and go, oh, there's too much chanter, or that's really distorted because my bagpipe was too loud, which was a problem that we had with a few people today. So distortion in your recordings. Bagpipes are loud. Microphones don't like loud things generally. So check your recording for distortion, and if you have distortion, you have to fix it. And you can do some reading about how to do that. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And I like your point there, Tyler, about making sure you have confidence in your equipment. And I think about when it comes to all these extra variables that we deal with on competition day, like we could get spooked from having people watch us. We could have all these weather conditions that could be playing factors on our instruments that create this sort of internal dialogue of either ramping up tempo or slowing down tempo, and you see the effects of those external environments come out in a person's playing. And I think I was noticing some of that today when it came to tempo variance, and you saw some tempos that were absolutely skyrocketed, and then you found some tempos that were quite on the slower side of things. And something that I suggest for folks to do is to treat the tune like you would your food. So as an example, Ty, so how would you like your steaks? And I think this is the time when you tell me you're vegan, but how do you like your steaks in general?
Medium rare.
Attaboy, same here.
Yeah.
But I also approach tunes the same way too, because Dylan, who was here earlier, may prefer a steak medium. So there's those tempo
He's
variants.
vegetarian, by the way, so.
Of course he is. And so his tofu steak, of course, is going to be medium.
Yep.
And when it comes to these different things, I think about how you can have all these different effects and how it can really cause some effects in your playing, speeding up, slowing down. So how I practice myself is I'll actually put myself in the position of competing at Glasgow Green every time I get my bagpipes out. And the effects of that is I want my body to feel like I'm there, so that way I can also practice managing my body in terms of what it does when I'm on competition day. And I think by doing that, you're able to find that sweet spot in your tune to the point where it just sits right. So that was musically something else I wanted to throw in.
Yeah, and I like that idea of visualizing yourself there under the circumstances. I think goes a long way, and a lot of times it's easy to get kind of caught up when you're just practicing it at home in your comfort zone. So I mean, like, to that regard as well, practicing recording yourself, give yourself one take, just like you would for the contest. So on whatever day you're practicing, you're going to get your microphone and camera set up, and you're going to hit record, and you're going to play your tune once through, no matter what happens. If it's a breakdown in the middle of it, whatever, that's your recording. And then when I do that kind of thing, I will send my recording to people, no matter what it is. It'd be garbage, and I will send it to somebody. Listen to the garbage I recorded today. But just knowing that you're going to do one take and you're going to send it to someone puts a little bit of pressure on yourself, and it means that when it comes time, like for the actual day and the actual recording, you've prepped for that. So
that's a great skill here and a great tip. And I'm wondering, Ty, like, just with everything that was going on today, were there any other points you wanted to make sure we give these competitors today?
I don't think so. I enjoyed this a lot. It was great. Listening through to everything, being able to judge with you as a panel was a heck of a lot more fun than doing it by myself. So yeah, thanks, Tyler, for an enjoyable Sunday afternoon, and thanks to all the competitors that submitted videos. And let us do this.
Absolutely. And the thanks go both ways, other Tyler. And I really think it was a wonderful day of great music, and I couldn't have spent it with better company. And of course, thank you for the branch. Thank you for the competitors. And I hope to see everybody on the field whenever it's safe to do so.
Soon
So,
enough. Yeah.
absolutely.
All right. Thanks.
Cheers.
See ya.
Hi there, this is the other Tyler, doing some recordings. So no promises about what this is going to sound like. This is my first day getting the pipe going. After being a frontline worker, I work as a therapist and a crisis rapid responder, so hands aren't going quite as good as they were. The pipe, we're going to see. But in the spirit of everything and how the players were going to do everything one time through, I figured I'd do the same. So hope you enjoy the tunes. The first selection is going to go off with a bang here in the tune, and I'm going to do this a little bit different. It's actually the second line of the Pibroch, or a second variation of Too Long in This Condition, and I'm going to play around with it a little bit, so I hope you enjoy this rendition, and yeah, thanks. there. Last tune for you. It's a waltz called Wedding Day Waltz. And yeah, just keeping with the spirit of everything. Only doing one take of this. And I hope you like the tune. So last one for you, Wedding Waltz.
Thank you so much, Tyler Bridge and Tyler Harris, for your wonderful way to finish our day today with your recitals, and also for your very perceptive remarks earlier, which I'm sure will be of great interest and help to our competitors. It's been a pleasure having you guys with us in all your many roles. I also want to thank the whole team that helps put these video presentations together, and especially Colin Johnstone, who does all the hard technical work that all us older folks could never possibly manage on our own. Colin really, puts a lot of hours in to make this event all happen. Thank you, Colin. And thanks to the rest of the team, Dylan Whitmore, Daniel Carr, Elaine Smith, and Darlene Carrero. Our next knockout event, which will be the final qualifying round, will be streamed on February 20th, and it will feature B, A, and professional piping. So we'll look forward to that. Okay, so I'm going to then finish up with the results. Here they come. All right, we're going to start with the C division in piping. In first place, Lou Lenaro. Congratulations, Lou. In second place, Donna Cooper. Congratulations, Donna. And in third place, Shirley Park. Congratulations, Shirley. And for the A division results, in first place, Henry Palak. In second place, Mitchell Arnold. In third place, Laura Mullen. In fourth place, Chris Scharf. In fifth place, Charles David Mitchell. And in sixth place, Joseph Fisher. Congratulations to everyone, and thanks to all competitors for helping make this event happen. We couldn't do it without you. I hope, like me, you're already looking forward to February 20th, and we'll see you again then. Till then, stay safe, everyone. Take care. Bye.